All right, what's up, everybody? In case you didn't catch what that that was the funeral march. Um, and that is something that I felt like playing because of the news of Laramie Tunsil today. If you haven't heard and you happen to be watching this, which I'm figuring you probably already heard, it's a torn tricep, and it is um, that's not great. Plain and simple. He's I looked it up and it said, for elite NFL players, maybe 3 to 6 months. On average, you're probably looking at possibly 6 months. I know they can, get him back, whatever. I'm just looking at it like basically, I don't know, December, January for playoff run. Maybe he'll be back sooner, but the thing about coming back sooner is he as effective? Um, yeah, they can put a brace on him, figure like that. So maybe you're looking at 3 months. So you're looking at August, September, September. Looking at November, maybe. Um, so I don't know. Could be done with for the year. Who knows? Depends on how it goes or how bad it is. So not ideal, not great news. I wanted to jump on here and do a quick kind of emergency pod on the injury for him and the I guess maybe a parent injury for Trey Amos. We'll get into that in a second. But it's Saturday the 8th, West Coast time, 5:40. I think that was about as probably as bad as you could get. I was thinking torn bicep maybe, hoping it was less. Torn tricep. I'm not sure. Um, just bad luck. I mean, just on an individual drill. Um, I don't know, man. It's just disheartening when you look at all the advances we've made, and where I think the team was headed. Um, I think it was something that was definitely, playoff contender and up. Playoff contender being the bottom of the barrel. Um, playoff team, I should say, not even contender. I honestly believe that we're a playoff caliber team. So now I would imagine, they put Brandon Coleman back over there. Was a third round pick, originally slated to play left tackle. Had started there his rookie year. Up and down results as you would expect for a rookie. Um, but he's a hell of a lot better option than trotting Andrew Wiley out there. So Coleman gets thrown into the fire. He has to step up. And then, we see how it goes. Maybe you give help on that side, obviously. Uh, when you have the beast pass rushers on that side, you give help, but you got Connerly is going to need to take a huge step up now, because they already showed last year that teams already showed that they were going to move their best pass rusher over him instead of Tunsil. So they would bounce guys over instead of lining them up over left tackle, they would line them up over right tackle and go up against Connerly. First part of the year, he was wrecked. Second half of the year, he got a lot better. The only hope is that with the off season, his body looks better. He looks more conditioned. He looks stronger. Um, that hope that, that full year of starting where he played 100% of the snaps, that full year of starting experience he'll take a good leap this year, and solidify himself as a, you know, a really good starting caliber tackle in the league. But you have yet to see. We won't see until it's game time. So yeah, just kind of felt like the funeral song was the song to play, kind of in jest. But I'd been feeling really high with the Diggs signing. I had been feeling really high about our chances. I don't think the Eagles are great. The Cowboys have a great offense. Their defense is still an unknown under their new defensive coordinator. The Giants, I mean, you know. Yeah, maybe we'll split with them. Maybe we'll sweep them. I just don't fear the Giants. I like Jackson Dart. I don't think he's ready yet. Um, so I really thought we had a good shot at not just maybe making the playoffs, but maybe sneaking the division, even with the tough schedule we have to start. Because in my estimation, with the start of the year and with our new offense and new defense, all people can look at is either what we do in preseason, which I'm sure they're not going to show a lot, and they'll look at Ben Johnson's offense from Detroit and Chicago, and then they'll look at the Flores defense in Minnesota. So they can look at those things, but obviously we have different players than they have. Similar concepts will be employed, but it all comes down to you don't have us on film doing those things. So it's harder to prepare. So having those tough games at the beginning could actually benefit us instead of waiting until the mid to end of the year to have those games piled up and start off with cupcakes that you should win. So I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with the start of the schedule, especially now that we have Diggs. I think he opens up our offense a lot more. I think he gives another legit target where you can't double Terry. Um, you're not going to shade over to him as much. And if you do, then Diggs is going to eat you up. He'll rattle off 8, 10 catches until you change your defense. So I think with him, with Chig at tight end, with Antonio Williams, uh, LMC is having a outstanding camp. And like I say, I mean, when he got drafted, he only played wide receiver for 2 years. So he was still learning, and I think maybe he's putting it together now, and maybe he's ready to roll. Um, Plus, he's 6'2". A lot of people, like I answered somebody on X the other day. He was talking about him and Jalen Lane kind of being smaller receivers and stuff, and he doesn't look 6'2", but dude's 6'2". He's taller than Terry. He was before Treylon Burks. He was our tallest receiver. Um, so yeah, he got hurt last year. He was kind of relegated to kick return duty, which he excelled at. Um, but I think he's positioning himself to really take a starting spot, maybe as soon as next year. But that doesn't mean that I didn't want to sign Stephon Diggs, because the more you have is better. Um, the more talent you have, the more capabilities you have. And as everybody saw today, injuries happen. Um, so, yeah, it was left tackle, but who knows? You get Terry um, or McCaffrey or Burks or any of those with like a hamstring that lingers. I mean, you're down one of your top three receivers before Diggs come in, not including Williams. Williams, same thing. He goes down, with the injury, then you're down one of your top four receivers. So the Diggs signing was great. I think the sky's the limit for the offense with Jaden. I'm a firm believer that Jaden is gonna, just like Louis Riddick said the other day with Dan Patrick, I think it was, that Jaden's gonna remind everybody who he is. He is not a flash in the pan. He is not an off injured player. He had some bad luck, took some bad hits because he had to run too much. With this offensive setup, I think he'll have to run less. I think they will run him less. He'll take less hits, and I think we're going to do more controlling the ball. We won't be in no huddle as much. We won't be going fast, which sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I think it's overall, I think this offense that David Blau is installing, from everything I've heard, is amazing. I don't want to get too much into that because we're going to do a pod tomorrow with my partner. Um, but yeah, I started that off, the whole thing with the funeral march is kind of funny. But yeah, bad news with that. On the Trey Amos thing, the only thing I've seen is some people think it was cramps, that it wasn't injury related. Hoping that's what it is. Don't know. I wasn't really expecting to hear anything on Tunsil, and then the news popped across. And I was like, yeah, definitely got to do a pod, and just put it out there. And the sky isn't falling, but obviously you lose a player of his stature and his just ability. Um, you're going to take a step back. So, you know, Brandon Coleman, I think, is going to be the one. He's going to have to step up. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Um, so yeah, just wanted to get on here and talk for a few minutes about that. I know I started with the funeral march, but the sky is not falling. Um, could be back this year. We'll know more once they do the surgery and they give us kind of a timeline. Again, with offensive linemen, they can, put on those big bulky arm braces, and a lot of times they can come back earlier. So it may be something that, maybe is more along the 3 month timeline. Who knows? But right now is the injury just happened. We have no clue. All we know is somebody's got to take his place. That's what helps when you have depth. And like I said, Brandon Coleman was drafted to be our starting left tackle. Right, wrong, indifferent. Yes, he was a third round pick. He had the attributes that we were looking for at the time. So, put him back at left tackle, which I wanted him at swing tackle anyway, um, instead of Wiley or Trent Scott. So put him at left tackle, and then you go from there. The more concerning thing right now, obviously, or another concerning thing, I should say, is the Allegretti situation at center. Um, and we'll talk about that when we do our pod tomorrow on Sunday, and I'll post that tomorrow night. So um, just, sky's not falling yet, but, sucks. And we just move on. Injuries happen all the time to all teams. And then you just have to push through. If we get a time frame that he's, 3 months, then for for September, October, and into November, we need to have a winning record, and to get us where we want to go, which is the playoffs. And then anything can happen in the playoffs, as we saw 2 years ago. So, sky is not falling, even though I may feel like that sometimes. So, thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with my partner D. And like, subscribe, let us know what you think. Thanks a lot. Take it easy.